So I woke up, yeah, it's an earthquake. Oh my God. So he was rushing and I went to the bathroom and I was like shaking like that. And I put, I wanted to brush my teeth. And, he was looking at me like crazy, like, are you serious now? In Lebanon, there is no pension from the government. It doesn't exist. It's not like when you are retired, you get your pension and you live decently. You have to earn your pension and you save. You make the savings and you put it in the bank. And then the bank comes and steals your money. Beg others to help others. We're begging people to help other people that we don't know. That's Liban Rock.
I'm Farah Shammas. Welcome to Hotel Talk. We hope you enjoy listening to this friendly conversation between people connected by real life in hotels. Welcome back, everyone, to Hotel Talk. And I'm very happy to have with me today client of St. Raphael Resort, somebody who stayed with us many, many years ago, but who's not here for that reason. He's actually very similar to me in that there is a Greek or Mediterranean and Lebanese connection. He's Greek-Lebanese, Alex Ikonomidis, living in Lebanon and as on the board of directors for an incredible charity called Liban Choc. He's also a director in photography for commercials all around the world. And he's going to tell us a little bit more about what he does and mainly the charity that he's created with his wife, helping families in Lebanon.
Well, hello. Thank you for hosting me here. And I feel I'm back to very nice, good memories that, I would tell you all about it when the time comes.
Yeah, we want to hear all about it. We can start from there. We don't have to start with the charity. We're going to get to that for sure. But why don't we start with you telling everyone a bit about you? I've mentioned now that you're Greek, Lebanese,
yes.
But let's hear the connection with both countries, where you grew up. And
I come from, my father is Greek and my mom is from Lebanon. And
great combination.
Yeah. And it happened that I grew up in Lebanon with my mom. And my visits were limited to summer vacations to see my Greek family because this is where we went to school in Lebanon. And after that, I finished my university studies, moved to Greece permanently, served my army. And it was right after the army service that I did, the Pochriotiki, that I came to your hotel. And I had, the post-army vacation.
The much-needed vacation here. What is it called when the military is served abroad and then they get their week of like stabilizing or just, before they go home.
Back to life.
Yeah.
So it was here that I went back to life. And the funny thing is when we were here, you had an earthquake in Cyprus. And I came actually for two things.
Were you here in August? Was that the big one that we reached 7.1, didn't we?
Pretty well. It shook pretty well. I was with a friend of mine who wanted to come to Cyprus to pick up his newly bought boat. It was delivered from London to your marina.
Okay.
And so we stayed here and we still remember it. I mean, I called him yesterday and told him, I'm going to come to the San Rafael for a podcast session. It's like, no way. So he said, I was talking about it still today. The same day he was talking to his friends about
what boat was it? Do you remember?
Yes, it was a Sunseeker.
Yeah, well, we were the agents.
Yeah.
So that's the connection. Yeah, another connection. Yeah, we were the agents of Sunseeker back then.
Right.
Yeah. That's why it was delivered to St. Raphael.
Mm-hmm. So what happened is that, why is it funny and why we still remember it? Because while the earthquake was happening, we woke up in the morning and Alex, he knocked at my door, woke me up. It's all shaking like that, it's an earthquake, let's go. Said,
and it was very early in the morning, I think, if I remember correctly, like 6:45.
Yeah. So I woke up, it's an earthquake, oh my God. So he was rushing and I went to the bathroom and I was like shaking like that. And I put, I wanted to brush my teeth. And, he was looking at me like crazy, like, are you serious now? It's like 1 minute, 1 minute.
I want to go outside with fresh breath.
And by the time I finished brushing my teeth, the earthquake stopped.
I'd finished.
It's like, okay, let's go back to sleep.
You know what? I also really, I think anybody remembers that earthquake because it was definitely the biggest. And if you're listening, Cyprus is very safe. All our buildings are built by regulation, anti-seismic. Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's how safe it was.
Yeah.
It was shaking, but it was safe.
It was safe. Nothing broke, nothing fell.
Nothing.
But I think a week before, or maybe even less, maybe it was like 4 days before, I had been in Lebanon, and I think Israel had bombed. Oh, I can't remember when now, but there were bombings and there were problems that summer between Israel and Lebanon. And the sound barriers were broken constantly. And I remember even watching some of the bombs fall down from our house in Lebanon. And we left Lebanon very soon, came back to Cyprus, and then woke up a couple of days later with this earthquake happening. So I just, woke up. I remember jumping out of bed and going, it's the bombs, thinking. And then I looked and I was like, no, I'm in a different country. Like, it doesn't happen here. It was very strange.
During that period, I wasn't in Lebanon. I had already left. I remember this period, I was in the Emirates working on a project there.
Okay. So how did you get into photography and commercials?
When I told you I grew up in Lebanon during the wartime, because, I was born the same year that the war in Lebanon broke out.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're giving away your age now, for those who know.
Well, of course. So something that stuck with me during this period when I was growing up was, the intense moments when everyone is gathered and listening to the news. It's very, very serious, and like big things are going on and everyone is paying attention. And you as a kid, this doesn't mean too much for you.
Yeah, the severity can't be swallowed or understood.
And what happens is then you have the commercial break. Everyone is happy, singing, the funny, the happy faces. So I thought that was part, when you are too little to realize that, you think that, okay, so it's this and that, but I chose this. So, my mind was set to, okay, why not everything should be beautiful, happy, positive? Why are they concentrating on that and not paying attention to the other one? So I reversed it. So I was paying attention only to the commercials and then forgetting about, everything else that was going on in the news.
Yeah, the sadness.
So that attracted me. And when I grew up, I decided to study advertising and communication, radio, TV.
That's so nice. I also think that as we were growing up, commercials were so important because we were watching television. There wasn't, maybe we had the chance to change channels, but that was it. How many channels did we have?
Maybe 8.
And then in Lebanon more. In the UK it was 4. Here it was 1 that had limited time. So, and even the 8 in Lebanon, they weren't necessarily all good. So you were watching your TV, and if you didn't change channel, then that was it. So you had to watch those commercials. And as children as well, which obviously have a shorter attention span, commercials are so much fun. And it's what YouTube has become now, because YouTube for kids is not what we're doing now. When people watch this one long, it's changing angles and it's different moments and it's emojis popping up, which is what a commercial is. I think it's amazing how that gets kids' attention. So I don't blame you for being attracted to it.
It's a philosophy. I think it presented me with 2 stances, and it's up to you to choose if you see the cup half full or half empty. So kind of, it's both are part of life, but then you have to make the balance, and you have to see that, okay, they both are true, but how do you receive it? what do you project? What are you, basically? So yes, I feel I'm a positive person.
Well, definitely you must be. And as the latest saying went with, which was in a book that won an Oscar, the answer was, is the glass half empty or half full? And the answer was, I'm just happy to have a glass.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
which brings us to the crisis.
Yes, I was about to get into that. So tell us a little bit more about your experience of the Lebanese crisis.
Well,
the recent one.
I would tell you the Greek crisis.
Oh, okay.
Because everything that we are going to be talking about today regarding the nonprofit, the Libantroc, and the Seed for Change, is the roots of it are the 2008 economic crisis, the worldwide economic crisis, which peaked during the 2010 in Greece. This is when you saw like a lot of people coming down the streets, and so this is what happened. I was part of that. I was in Greece, and I was a victim of this economic crisis. People all started to owe me money. Work was getting less and less. You work, you never know if you're going to be paid for your work or not. And bills start to accumulate. And so, you start trying to cut on your spendings. You just sit and try to prolong your existence as much as possible without you jeopardizing your well-being or your supermarket bills, your items. You want to prolong yourself. So then, while I had this free time, I started to investigate about these feelings that I was having, and just to understand, okay, if I see myself from a distance as an ex, okay, then I would start to understand more about the humans and myself included. So why am I feeling like this? And it was very, very awkward to find out that we have only two options: fear or love, as feelings related to hormones, related to your unconscious, and how if you feel the love, the bonding with the universe, giving birth, for example, the oxytocin that is released in your body, it's like all these chemicals, you feel the oneness with the universe and the love and the bonding and the appreciation and the respect for human beings. And on the other side, you have the cortisol, which is another hormone, which is released when you are under stress. Whether you are being attacked, the fight or flight mode, if you are under attack or by a lion, for example, in old age, old times, it's either you fight it or you
run.
You run. So, but society got more complex, so it became agriculture-based societies. So if it doesn't rain, I won't have crops that will grow. Therefore, I will die from hunger. So death, and the reason why, and the chain reaction of thoughts that happened, it became more complicated. So instead of adrenaline of the fight or flight response, it became like cortisol, which will take all the nutrients of your body and give it to your vital organs. Either you are okay after that, after this period of time, longer period of time than just, immediate danger that will happen and finish in 10 minutes. It becomes months. So this is it. And then today we are again more complicated than an agricultural society, depending on the rain. It's about, if I don't have money, I won't have access to a supermarket, therefore I will die from hunger. Unconsciously, this is how you work. Everyone is like that. We don't have a choice. It's either fight, cortisol versus oxytocin, fear or love.
So there's a lot of other hormones in between, like dopamine and adrenaline and so many others.
Is fear.
Yeah.
Whatever is making you happy it's just you have two titles, and under that you can put
Yes.
the rest.
Okay. Yeah.
So I understood, okay, I'm in fear of death because of a starvation, because I'm risking my income here because of the crisis. So what if I can grow food without money? Then what? Then I thought, at least psychologically, I will break this vicious circle of fear and feel good. Is it the same for somebody who has a garden with all the food during the economic crisis? He wouldn't feel the same. He says, okay, no money, I don't buy another shoe. That's it. It doesn't feel more than that. I wouldn't, go for this party. I would bring my own uzu because I know how to make it. So, okay, so that was like some revelation for me. And then I jumped from my couch and I started to do this documentary called A Seed for Change, which quickly you understand what is going on in the seed sector. The free seeds, the reproducible seeds that will give you autonomy, that I take one vegetable from a seed, I plant it, I grow it, I take care of it, it feeds me, and then the next season I take a seed from that crop, plant it again. And that was a shock to me, that this has become illegal. You're not allowed to grow those seeds.
Which is insane.
It's insane. And so I was like, okay, so what's expected from me during a crisis where I'm losing my money and I don't have money? I don't have the right to grow my own food for free. So you understand, what that did. So,
and that's illegal under European law.
You have to watch the film.
Yes, I'm sorry, I haven't had time to watch it. Yeah.
Every single detail.
Yeah, and everyone will put in the link for sure in the comments on this podcast. So you must watch it, and we'll share it as well with all the information. It's an hour and a half documentary, isn't it? That I saw. Yeah.
It's something that started as a pilot to put together a production team that I never stopped filming, and it took me in the span of 7 years to complete. So rewritten 3 times until I became the story. While I was interviewing somebody in the monastery, he grabbed the camera after spending some time with him, helping him build some agricultural tool for the nuns.
Yeah.
And so he grabbed the camera and he just put it on me. And it's like, Alex, you should tell your story. Your story, doing this documentary is more interesting than the subject itself. You can say both, but please.
Everybody likes the story. It's incredible. And I'm so for organic farming, home growing food, keeping life more sustainable and more attainable and just healthier. So that's what I'm always trying to promote. So I think it's incredible.
It's a beautiful feeling when you are in the middle of a rough city in the cement, and then you have an oasis of life on your balcony. I saw earthworms in my pots. Where did they come from? I have no idea. I was waking up to the birds. The only apartment with a lot of birds going on and butterflies, and it was like cartoon.
Yeah.
If you take a picture of from a distance to that building, it's like everyone you would see it's like gray, and my balcony was like all flowers. Life. Yes. And I would leave the butterflies to lay their eggs. Just observe, take pictures of what they leave behind, the branches. It's like a piece of art being sculpted by the worms when they are eating, the tender parts of the leaves and leaving the rest. It was beautiful. And then they would make their cocoons, and then they would spread and fly. It was very, very strange. It gave me the peace of mind and the tranquility that everyone should experience. And what was it? Just put a seed in the soil and just look at it. give yourself the time to absorb what is going on around you in the middle of the crisis, where the
And
rest
a
of the
city.
world, the rest of the world were on the streets, fighting, demonstrating. So yes, for me that this is what triggered everything that we're doing still today, but with a different approach.
Well, and you were still protesting, but in your own way, in a calm way, and through a documentary that you then produced, indicating some of the problems of the modern world and how we can face them and how you can cope with that, because stress is a huge, huge factor for so many people. And I think, it's an example as well of when good things come out of crises. And it's very reminiscent for me of the Second World War and what happened in Europe. And when there were huge food shortages, and I know in the UK, from my grandparents, everybody was given an allotment. So even if someone didn't have a garden, I mean, my grandmother's from the countryside, so she did. But in the cities where people didn't have, or they didn't even have balconies in the UK, they don't have balconies. So they were given a part, maybe it was 2 square meters, 5 square meters of a public garden.
I saw that in London. I loved it.
Yeah, and they all grew their own food.
Getting together on Sundays, and everyone has like 10 square meters. Very small.
Very small.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, you appreciate nature and you appreciate everything. I mean, you wouldn't. My grandmother, I wouldn't see her ever cutting a tomato and saying, "Oh, I don't need that part," or throwing it. It's grown in the garden. It's so precious. She was watering it every day. Like, no, she would eat that tomato. Like, everything, nothing is wasted. And yeah, I'm so grateful for that influence growing up as well, because it definitely made a big impact on my life.
I even created compost on my balcony.
Imagine.
So even the scraps are precious. Like my best thing was when I was cooking, like for example, a soup. You have a lot of, scraps. And
Yes.
Skin, potato skin.
Yeah.
So these were like, are precious. They go to the compost bin.
Yeah.
A few months later, they come back. They go back to the pots. So it's a cycle. You are part of that.
Yeah.
And because we grew up in a mindset that we forgot where we are, what we are, and that we are part of a whole. And we cannot get rid of part of it and remain as we are without consequences on our, on us. We cannot get rid of, okay, I hate mosquitoes, kill all the mosquitoes, spray. But they are in the food chain. What happens to the other dependent on the mosquito?
The spiders
beings?
or the,
So we cannot be in silent garden, for example, like the book, an old book that was written during the 60s when the Green Revolution was peaking and the DDT usage were very wide and started, to be even a household item, a DDT. Dichlorodiphenyl trichloretan, which is the worst poison that you can use, because whatever you sprayed is still there. And they say the worst thing that humans consume with a lot of DDT in it is their mother's milk, because we are on the top of the food chain. And any DDT that was sprayed throughout history is still there, and it's still contaminating. It doesn't break up. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. It's not to say that breast milk is bad, though, because it's still the healthiest thing. Yeah.
But we have to be careful what we put in nature, because it will come back to us. It will boomerang. And so we have to do something about the legislations that are being passed.
Yeah, the pesticides that are used, the cleaning
products. For example,
products.
DDT, they used to spray directly on humans, and it was used for mosquitoes. So it's like when you use now, these
mosquito repellent
sprays. So it was used in the same way. So, but what was used then now is forbidden to even mention it, but in other parts of the world they're still using it. So if you have a strong legislation here in Europe, for example, in other parts of the world, you can just go to a store and buy it. But if he sprays it and contaminates a river, and the river passes through another country, and the fish eats it, and they are fish, catching the fish here, and you are importing and exporting those fish, and so you end up consuming DDT. So yes, it's very, very bad. What happened in the 60s during this green revolution, so-called green revolution, and all the bad things that we are going through today is from these bad decisions that happened, which are related to the surplus of chemicals that were created for the warfare, the biological warfare of the First and the Second World War. So they had a huge surplus of chemicals that they had to find a way to use it somehow, instead of being stockpiled somewhere. So this is how the chemical agriculture started.
Out. Yeah, that, and obviously overpopulation and a growing population, and there's really interesting studies of let's say Western diseases like strokes and heart attacks and Alzheimer's and diabetes and everything else going on rise as mass production was coming in, and then literally falling to nothing during the world wars. And they were saying, oh, it's because the men were out or the stats weren't there, but they were. But the difference was everybody was growing their own food and eating much healthier when they were eating. And then the war would end, and immediately the heart attacks would come back, the strokes would come back, everything else. So yeah, it's there's a lot to be said for food evolution and how it's produced.
Basically, it's commodities versus agriculture, for food. Because most of the lands, the big parts of the huge lands, the monocultures, they're not being grown for food. They're growing commodities, the raw material that gets into the industrial food, which everyone who has a microphone would tell you that you should avoid. So this is not food. Like anything that is packaged, processed food, everyone tells you this is not healthy.
Of course, it's not healthy. Yeah.
Basically, this is not food. This is something that just stops you from being hungry for momentarily, but this is not food. If you eat it every day, you're going to go to hospital. And there are many people who tried that for like documentaries that were made.
Like Super Size Me and so many others. Yeah,
somebody who decided that
I'll do it for 28 days. Yeah.
So we have to link back to nature, understand where our food is coming from, and so basically that's it.
I love it. It's very, very close to my heart. So I couldn't agree with you more. So going back to you, and you were in Athens, and after that you did this documentary that was screened all around, wasn't it? At different at different film festivals.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was it's screened the first time, the pre-screening, if you want, it's Cyprus.
Okay.
2017.
Yeah.
I was invited by committed permaculturists groups here in Cyprus, and they organized the whole thing, and they asked me if I would like to accept their invitation, and I gladly did.
Just gonna pour some more.
It's screened once in Limassol, once in Larnaca, and another one in Lefkosia. And
then
after that, it premiered in the Thessaloniki Film Festival in 2018 beginning. After that, it just went everywhere, like Hungary, France, Switzerland, multiple places, France, multiple places, Albania, in a human rights film festival, because it was considered my fundamental human right to food sovereignty, to be able to grow your own food for free. So, and a big festival in Santa Barbara International Film Festival in the States. I was invited without me approaching them, and so it was like, for me, it was really nice.
Amazing that somebody found it and appreciated it. And
it also like it got a kind of a reward in that festival, in the sense that it was given also the free the third screening. Like the last day is an empty slot day, and they would give a third screening for the films that had the most interaction with the audience.
Oh, wow.
So the audience loved it. And it also won the Audience Award in Athens in the Marathonas International Film Festival. And after that was the pandemic. And then, it just went in the drawer.
Well, I think even more important in the pandemic, people were home, people were bored, people needed to garden, people cared more about their health.
This is why I decided then just to put it online and give my 7 years of hard work for free to anyone who wants to learn more about the subject, because it covers a lot of angles. So it's available. It's still available there. It's on aceatforchange.com. You can watch it, and I would love to hear a comment. I always answer, the only thing that I would like is people, just don't be shy. And don't think that if you say a good word about a work that was done with a lot of devotion and love, that your good word was the vitamin that kept me all these years. So it would be nice for people to express themselves, talk about it, which is happening actually. But,
definitely. And tell us about TEDx. You were a TEDx speaker as well.
Yeah, it was in the beginning of the project, and still early stage when I was still developing the concept and trying to find a solution. And I interviewed Dr. Vandana Shiva through Skype for that TEDx talk. And actually, TEDx, my preparation for that speech gave the outline of the final film. Because I had to sit down and you have to write down your flow, the flow of the speech, and the flow of the speech actually is the bone structure of the movie itself. So it was a nice experience, being in Museo Benaki in Athens, and it was a full house, and I think there were like 200,000 people watching online. And I had one moment of these moments in life when you say undo.
Yeah.
You want to undo, but you cannot undo. So what happened is I prepared my speech for the TEDx, everything. I was writing it in English. And the funny thing is, I needed to find like a nice beginning, a nice breaker for me and the audience. So it was like I started with wow, a word, wow, looking at the audience. There are so many. So nice to see so many crowd. And I started to speak in Greek. So wow. Πόσο χαίρομαι που είμαι εδώ, la 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 la. And then I was looking, you had the notes, and it's in English. So then I remember that, oh my God, I have everything in English. My notes and my preparation and the whole structure of the speech is in English, and I'm starting to speak in Greek. And then I was telling them, δεν ξέρω γιατί μιλάω ελληνικά, τα έχω γράψει όλα στα αγγλικά, so I don't know why I'm speaking in Greek. I have everything written in English. Can we just please go from the beginning? And I look at them and I say, wow. Again, so I started with the wow, and everyone was laughing. It was really an icebreaker that the organization thought I planned it, actually.
Yeah.
So that was a funny moment. Yeah.
But it was natural. I love it. So tell us a bit about then how did you end up from Athens moving back to Lebanon? And then tell us a bit about the charities that you got involved in.
In Greece, so I went through the crisis, and then I started to open up on the Middle East, going back and forth to Lebanon, picking freelance projects in Lebanon and, the Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar. They were booming. They had like a lot of work then. So slowly, I was going back more and more to this part of the world, staying a bit longer. Like instead of a week or two, I would stay like a third week. And so it was like kind of moving away from the economical crisis, because and it was a bit like Oedipus Rex, running away from something that was, running away from the banks and all the crises that were happening, to go to Lebanon, where it's supposed to be like a very good place to stay at that time, and then going back again and living another crisis, another harder economical crisis in Lebanon. But
I was going to say, ran from one crisis to another.
Exactly. But in Lebanon, I had the experience of the Greek crisis, and I was like the advisor, so many people, what shall we do? It's like, okay, I feel now I'm, someone like the guru who knows about crisis now. It's okay, you do this, my son. Okay, so in Lebanon, it's harder than the Greek crisis because nothing is working by law. For example, we have now there the biggest theft in the world, mass theft done by the banks. Do you understand that people over there lost 99.2% of the value of their money, whoever has his bank account in local currency, and they were not allowed to withdraw their amounts. So they kept them there, and all they did was watch their money, their hard work, go lose and lose and lose of its value. So whoever had this amount in dollars, now it's peanuts.
Yeah. If someone had the equivalent of $1,000, it's now one in Lebanese lira, yeah.
And whoever has his account in a foreign currency, he's just looking at his bank account. He cannot use it. He's not allowed to withdraw his money. He can, but with like 75% less. Mm-hmm. So you want 1,000, you have to take. Mm-hmm. It's crazy what's going on. And it's a scandal. What is going on? The silence of the international community regarding the banks, as if it's not happening. And you see a whole population who are being struck by this. It affects everyone, basically, over there. No access to your... I've seen like middle-class people, those who work hard, they take a vacation, they travel in summer, begging for their money to pay a pharmacy bill or to have an operation. This is how bad it is.
And the middle class has basically been wiped out. There's the extreme 100%. Poor, and then there's still the rich. Yeah. And it's unbelievably sad.
So the backbone of the society are poor now. Of course, you have the new rich, whoever is dealt with the foreign, the currency exchange with the blessings of the banks. Like the last time I went there, I thought I was in Sicily in under
mafia.
Like I would see a queue of people outside of the bank holding, those potato bags of money, going in, exchanging, going out with another currency. So this is crazy. This is crazy, just absolutely crazy what's going on.
So where did Liban Troc come from then?
It's one of the very good things that happen during a crisis. This is where the good people shine. Liban Troc is just normal people with normal businesses doing something good about it. about the situation, about how terrible it has become. It started with fixing issues of neighbors, very closed circles. Like you don't have to go very far to see someone affected by the crisis. It's happening. The next door neighbor, every family has a problem. So every business, for example, we're supposed to. Can we?
Yeah, I don't mind if your wife wants to come in. She's in the room as well, everyone. So we can have,
So she had a business.
Yeah.
And in her business, she put like cardboard boxes for her clients when they're coming from a supermarket, so that they buy an extra
pasta
item, and she would take this bag and give it to the neighbor who has a difficulty. And the middle class who went down, they would never ask. They don't know how to ask for help. You have to go and look for them. You know them. So this is how everything started, and it grew so fast, beyond us, beyond our capacity of coping with this growth. I mean, we became now 89,000 members on Facebook group. So if you want to say good morning, to every member, it takes you 4 days. And so we became very, very efficient in our very, very small number of people on the ground in verifying the cases, because there's a lot also of abusers out there, fake cases coming. So we are very, very good in identifying fraud when they approach us. We filter, we verify.
And how do you identify the people who just are trying to get free things, or the ones who genuinely in need?
How would you identify? You pay them a visit.
Oh, okay. So you physically go, yeah.
You would physically go there. For example, somebody, I don't have food. Please help me. I need food box. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you knock at the door. You go in and you check out the house. You open the fridge. Like a lady, she had a closed door. We brought her the food box, but then we asked her to open the door. And there were 15 food boxes in there. It's like, are you serious? You know that you're taking this from a needy person who
doesn't have, yeah.
So yes, we took it back. Yes, there are abusers there, but I wouldn't blame them. What is a food box in the end? It's your safe net, your
safety net, yeah.
Safety net. What about the medicine? This period of time where we were going and putting medicine in our bags and our luggage and bringing them there. I mean, yes, he would want to take for 6 months ahead instead of living the anxiety and fear.
What if my child needs
exactly
Panadol? I mean, anything.
Yes. So these abusers I comprehend, but others that they're just there, no. I wouldn't tell you even the stories. But on the other hand, there are so many people that are in need. So many. Especially those who are almost at the age of retirement. Middle class people, 65, 70, 75 years old, who worked so hard, had put some money in the bank, because in Lebanon there is no pension from the government. It doesn't exist. It's not like when you are retired, you get your pension and you live decently. You have to earn your pension and you save. You make the savings and you put it in the bank. And then the bank comes and steals your money. So, can you imagine? You are 65-year-old, about to retire, and then you don't have, you're starting from scratch? That's hard. So, this is our most priority. This class of people who have no one, no support, and they came very harsh on them with all these crises and the banks stealing the money and everything. And they cannot start from scratch. They don't have the power to do that. They're getting older. So these are our main focus group of people. If you are younger, if you are like 30 years old and you went through the same, it's okay in a way. It's not.
It's tough.
But I mean, we give you a push then. Okay, what do you need? So that you need to invest a little bit. We can put people together. We can you ask for funds from good people who are giving us, we're getting our donations by the bits from normal people, from no political parties, no religious parties. We're getting them from you and everyone like you, who is like, okay, I want to donate that amount, very small, but those little small dots, they pile up. And with this amount, we are able to help.
And I tell a lot of people as well, like when people are looking for private teachers, for example, I mean, so much is done online now. And I say, hire someone from Lebanon. It's online. What's the difference? Even if it's to help your kid with, I don't know, maths, because that money that you're going to pay will go so far to somebody in Lebanon who has nothing right now.
Actually, the way we work is what makes Liban Talk different and efficient, and it got the attention of Meta.
That was my next question. So tell us about Meta, Facebook, and it's now Meta. You got a Meta grant. How did that happen?
Before getting to that, I would explain to you the way we work, which is what got their attention. We work as per case. Mm-hmm. So if you know a case, you write about it, you send it to us on Facebook in front of 90,000 people. So we verify the case. Once it's verified and it's legit, we post it on Facebook asking for the amount that's being asked. Mm-hmm. For example, I need $3,000 for a heart surgery. I cannot afford it. There's, life-threatening situation. Please help us. So after verification, we put the case, $3,000. You, as a donor, I would like to donate 100 for this case. Immediately, you see your initials being deducted from the total amount until the amount is zero, case closed. The next day, we start running and collecting the promised amounts. This is how we work, but it's not automated. So when somebody posts a case and you see your initials as if it's live, know that there's someone behind working 24 hours for that to happen. So we are all like 12 people on the ground, including those who are on the street, running, getting the collections and everything. So the admins are like very, very busy from morning till we go to sleep to make that happen. And Facebook noticed that. So they approached us. They saw that we're using Facebook, in their opinion, in the best of ways. So for them, they wanted to promote Facebook as a platform that could be used in a very good way to help communities. So they proposed us to send them like some paperwork and, so that we take part in, the Facebook Community Accelerator Program. That was the grant. And they were like 5,000 groups that they selected, and then they shortlisted 200. We were among the 200, and then we won that accelerator program.
Amazing.
And that was an achievement, really. It always feels good when you see somebody who appreciates you for what you're doing, and you're doing it not for that, just doing it, genuinely. And so it gave us it was a very good for our morale, because sometimes, when you are always listening to the bad things that are happening in the country, it gets to you. You have to be very tough afterwards. Otherwise, you'd be like crying all the time.
Broken.
My wife was like, hearing miserable stories one after the other, and there's nothing you can do. You feel so, you don't, I mean, there's nothing you can do but beg others to help others. You know, we're begging people to help other people that we don't know. That's Libantrock.
Amazing. Where did the name come from?
The name, it wasn't supposed to be a humanitarian work group. It started by the founder, Hala Dahrouj came up with an idea before the crisis, before anything of all that happened. She wanted to create a platform where she can exchange goods. Like if I do you this service, you owe me that. It's like a time bank kind of truck. I give you this for these clothes of my 3-year-old boy who is grown up now. He doesn't need I want something else in return. So it was kind of a truck platform. And it when she started that, it was the beginning of the crisis. So immediately people were turning to that platform asking for milk formulas. And I give you my furniture, give me milk formulas for my baby. So what is going on? You know, it was the early beginning of the crisis. I mean, we would visit houses like 150 meters square, empty. What happened to the furniture? They sold it. It's like, don't be, you know, it's not us. I mean, this is our house, but we're going through difficulties. We don't know what to do.
That makes me cry. It's so sad. So, what are your hopes for Lebanon? What would the dream be?
If we are still there, then there is hope for Lebanon, trust me. Because it's not us. It's all of this network of people trying to do something good for the country. Without the donors, our donor list, which are in the hundreds now, I mean, these are the people that are doing the change. So I hope that many initiatives like ours grow. We cannot handle a whole country. We don't have the capacity. We're trying to grow to fill this gap between that is super wide now between those who have and those who don't. It's very big. So we're trying to fill that gap as much as possible. But many people, many other people, they have to do the same. Every region has to have a Libantrock in it.
Well, for those of you who are listening or watching and don't know Lebanon, it's really an amazing country. And what makes it, of course, is the mountains and the snow and the sea and the sights, but it's the people, and the people are just fabulous, I say. And I'm Lebanese too, but I'm always very proud of Lebanon and to be Lebanese. So check it out if you haven't already. We'll try and move the conversation now, wrap it up in more... It is hopeful notes, but on maybe a lighter note. Give us a favorite quote or a book or something that you like. Your motto. I love mottos and mantras.
You know Leibniz. Gottfried Leibniz.
Tell me again.
He's a German mathematician and my all-time favorite philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is for the best in the best of the world.
Everything is for the best in the best of the world.
True.
There you go. Bonus question. I wonder which one you're going to pick. And I know. Drum roll. Shall I read it?
Sure.
Let's see. Oh, well, that's an easy one and a fun one. Are you a night owl or an early bird?
I'm both.
Nah, I was going to say Lebanese are both, because most Lebanese are party animals, and you've got Greek thrown in as well. So nighttime is our friend. And then definitely if you like nature.
I'm both because I feel like I don't have time to sleep anymore because I'm doing, the humanitarian part during the daytime. And then I do my creativity when I'm alone. Because you have to be alone in silence, you have to be calm. That's when I start to work and, on my laptop, doing some very nice environments, 3D animation. So yeah, I need the night for this and
the day for something else. Well, I hope you sleep because that is important.
I'm sleeping now.
I'm resting.
I'm resting now during the interview. I'm daydreaming. And you are a good dream.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Everyone, thank you for listening. We're going to post all of the links in the info section of this episode. And if you want to help even more, you can click on those links. You can donate. You can get in touch with Alex, with his wife, with the whole team, and really help people who really, really need your help. And furthermore, you can share this episode. So share the episode, comment on Hotel Talk, obviously like and subscribe, and get this episode to become the most watched and listened to and downloaded episode of the season, let's say. And we'll give extra money to Le Bon Choc to help them in their efforts. So thank you very much, everyone. Alex, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for receiving us.
And follow the group because you're doing a dinner. I mean, by the time this episode comes out, the dinner would have been done already in Cyprus, but you've got dinners going on, fundraising events all over the place.
These are all Meta's ideas.
Yeah, well, I like it.
Fund ourselves because, as I told you, we work as per case and we put the amounts that are needed. But who's paying for our bills?
Yeah.
To collect the fuel, the rentals and everything. Yeah. So they want us to be sustainable in the way so that we remain in our efforts doing and helping.
Yeah.
So they are helping us get into the fundraiser concepts of, you can raise your money and get your expenses covered by these dinners.
Well, we'll be more than happy to help in any way we can. Thank you. So thank you so much for your time. Pleasure. Hope your reverie continues throughout the day and you relax and get your rest in and enjoy Cyprus and St. Raphael.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really hope that you've enjoyed listening to Hotel Talk and this episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it helps us more than you may realize. And also, if you have enjoyed any episode more than maybe another, do share that with as many friends as possible because whoever gets the most amount of downloads or likes after the first year, we will be donating 1,000 euros to a charity of their choice. So all your listens really help us. If you'd like to stay in touch, don't forget to hop along to St. Raphael Resort and Marina's website, join our Seahorse Club, and email the hotel anytime that you want to come and stay, quoting Hotel Talk to receive an exclusive offer just for you as our valued listener. So thanks once again, and here's to many more amazing episodes with you, our listener, in mind.